A blessed Thursday to us. There is always a funny note regarding this dialogue between the rich man and Abraham. When the rich man said, "Father Abraham, send a video on me." And then Abraham said, "Nirisi nimo." Well, it has always something to do with many different ways that we are given, most especially in this context of the Lenten season. And at the very start, which is actually the first priority, is reflection, to be able to listen, to be able to have an open heart, to be able to have a sensitive conscience, as we always call it. And Abraham's response in today's gospel reading is they have Moses and the prophets. Well, it is not just about the person of Moses and the prophets that were sent by God. The expression Moses and the prophets actually in the Gospel of St. Luke and in the context of the New Testament represents actually the scriptures. It is the way that the Old Testament is called before the New Testament was written and compiled. So whenever we hear about Moses and the prophets or the law and the prophets, it is all about the Old Testament. And what about the Old Testament? This season of Lent is one of the appropriate times when we are challenged to read the scriptures. And by reading scriptures, it is not just something reading for the sake of reading, but letting every word permeate into our hearts. That's the reason why we ask for a listening heart. And once our hearts are touched by these stories, especially in the Old Testament, there are so many events in the Old Testament that actually speaks about the very things that we are still doing in the here and now. And we are constantly challenged what good and what we have to avoid, so that whatever the Lord speaks to our hearts, we also have to respond. And in the same way, the prophet Jeremiah is already telling us in today's first reading, one of the things that we should not remember. The prophet Jeremiah said, "More tortuous than all else is the human heart. Who can understand it?" So today, at these moments of the season of Lent, actually is a time for taming our hearts, to be able to be attentive, to be able to listen, to be able to reflect, and most of all, to pray and make our prayer effective works that will not just touch our lives in as much as it is directed to us, but it's also a way of reaching out to other people and make themselves like us ready and prepared for the great Paschal mysteries that we are going to celebrate. And not just celebrate, live by, live out. Amen.